Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're watching this. Thank you so much for joining us. You know what? Grab yourself a brew because this is going to be about 15, 20 minutes, she says. And that's as long as it takes to have a brew, isn't it? When you're having a nice, relaxed moment with yourself. So today on Real Talk, I am joined by one Sunita Passy. And I've got to say, I'm struggling with the 20-minute deadline that I've given myself because this is the first time I'm speaking to this fantastic businesswoman. And although I've been on her radio show in Nottingham, it was never enough time. And this is going to be one of the next times since being on there that we're talking. So I think I need to arrange a proper personally distant, I don't like the word social, personally distant one-to-one coffee catch-up. But anyway, in the meantime, morning, Sunita. Thank you for joining me.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So what is your business called? First of all, who are you? What do you do for a living? And so people can get an idea of where your thoughts and belief patterns and whatnot come from as we go through our conversation.
Sure. So I'm a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner. So Ayurveda is a traditional Indian health system, and we treat the body completely holistically. So it's mind, body, also look at the spiritual aspect of health. Now, through that, I've then evolved my business more so. So I also have a training academy. We train therapists and practitioners in Ayurvedic bodywork, which is my specialism within this health system. And then we also train instructors in mindfulness and meditation. And so I facilitate all the training, and then the next level of that is with my my skincare entrepreneur head on. 11 years ago, I started development of our own skincare. So we now supply the spa industry and also holistic therapists. So our products are under the brand Tri-Dosha. And so what we do is we import the medicinal herbs from India, and then I formulated everything here in the UK. So we work with local suppliers here in the UK to make sure that everything's blended properly. But yeah, so there's three aspects. There's me as a practitioner, there's the training, passing on the love, sending out the ripples, and then there's also the product side.
So what did you do in a past life? Because you say you've been the 11 years of the skincare. What did you do in a past life? What's been the majority of your life?
My first career was as a journalist. So here, and I do still regularly present the BBC Asian show in Nottingham, the radio show. So I started off life as a journalist, and my whole, when I was a kid, I always wanted to get to the truth of everything. It was all about knowing the real story, telling that authentic story. And I went away to study. Then I came back to Nottingham, and I was the second year that did the investigative journalism MA at Nottingham Trent University. Right. So I was all about uncovering, truth.
It's interesting because
things.
My daughter's 17 going on 18 in August, and the whole what's going on now is really, really affecting her teenage sensibilities. And she's also, I think she'd make a prime candidate for that. Were you at that age, 18, always arguing with your parents about things that were going on in the world and why they thought the way they did and challenge them on their beliefs? Because that's what I'm getting right now for my 18-year-old daughter, got to be honest.
I think there is. It's, if you're challenge, there's something that it's an energy, isn't it? That just stimulates through you, that drives through you. And, I think that's when you start to get the feelings of what it feels like to almost be maybe activist is too strong a word, but feel very strongly about things, or injustices and bless your daughter. I mean,
she wants to go into the industry as an actor. And I'm like, man, you're really good with writing and words and speaking, you need to be a director or telling people, it's like that. But it's not because of any other reason, but it's a genuine fact. She's a lot more intellectual than I was at that age, way more clever, academic, so for me it'd be a waste for her to go into this. Not that actors are digging that hole, I can say that anyway because I'm one, but I think she's more than that. There's more that she can give as an individual personally. But So what about what if you had to choose? I mean, obviously you've let that side of life go more so now, and you like to say you got your radio show that you do. Is that the only bit of journalistic sort of involvement you have in life?
Yeah, also we've got with the business, we've got two platforms. We've got Tri-Dosha, which is really raising the profile of the training and the products. But then my personal profile is, I really, that's quite journalistic. So I put my journalistic head on there, but I'm also sharing, wisdom, spiritual wisdom, content from the concepts from Ayurveda, and I hope, in some way, enlightening folks, helping people on the path to.
Is that because of experiences you've had? Because I know everybody, we can get a life coach certificate, or, we can get a certificate to say we're qualified in this, that, and the other. But how much of it do you think comes down to life experience and what the individual's been through? Do you think that gives it more kudos? Do you think that's the way to become the way shower, the spiritual teacher,
I think it's, I think this is all it's almost beyond us. It's a deep feeling that you want to speak up, you want to share what you've learned through your, and I stayed quiet for very long. I kept it all very generic, very lovely. And
why?
I think there is, as a human being, a part of our psychology is to play, or maybe to stay quiet and to stay smaller and to not show up with our complete vibrancy and our complete light. So it took me a while. But
did you feel like you were going to get judged? Did you worry about being judged about it because people wouldn't get the concept and automatically assume it wasn't anything worth anything?
Do you know, I actually think I know that I've been sharing the thoughts that I'm sharing now publicly in my private life, with friends, with colleagues. And you don't always get it. It's not about getting it right, but sometimes you can get a backlash from that as well, because it depends where that other person is on their own path.
Aren't you triggering them then? Isn't that then that becomes the thing about being a mirror to those individuals, because there's something you've said and done has triggered something in them that they don't even know why they're reacting to you like this, but they feel the need to say something. And it's like, listen, with all the love in the world, this isn't on me. This is something you've got to see for yourself and figure out on why you've reacted this way. I don't do it with bad intention. The intention behind why I do is pure enough for me to know that it's not here to cause offence.
And actually, all I'm doing and all we're doing when we go through that process is sharing the wisdom.
Correct.
Not putting any creative slant on it. It's not about marketing. It's actually purely about sharing truth, sharing wisdom. And yes, I think that can trigger us. It can trigger feelings, emotions. It can have challenging impacts, influence on our body, on our mind at that time. However, when you sit with it, the other thing is then to sit with it, do some deep breathing and actually work through that process and see what comes up. And that's what helps us evolve. At the end of the day, as human beings, we are organisms, Our soul needs to be watered, just like the plants need to be watered. And the way that we do that is by delving deeper into some of these thinkings, these concepts,
to find our own truth.
Find our own truth. Yeah.
I mean, it segues nicely into the real. Obviously, the real talk stands for being able to express yourself responsibly as an authentic leader in your field. I mean, that doesn't mean you have to be an MD or a CEO of what you do, or the boss or the manager or anything. You are the boss of your own life. You are leading by example every step of the way, whether you've got kids or not. Your peers, the people you are associating with, your colleagues, your friends, your clients, you are showing a way to live. And we have a responsibility, God-given, duty-bound responsibility to express ourselves to our most honest, at the detriment of having somebody sit up and say, I don't think this and I don't think that. Do you think you portray yourself responsibly and as an authentic leader?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I would hope so, yes.
What does it look like to you? What does it look like to you to be that person? What are you doing? What is the activity one follows to do that?
First of all, I feel that you're coming from a place of when you're putting yourself out in the world in that way, you're coming from a place of service. So it's how can I be in greatest service to the audience, to my audience, to the people that are listening, who are following me on this platform, who are listening to what I'm saying. So ultimately, when we're in service, we're then able to express, to express the thoughts and the ideas, and that needs to be of an intellectual capacity, of an intelligent capacity. So it needs to be well researched. It needs to be, it has to be authentic to yourself, but it's not about just blurting something out because actually you had this moment and that's what came up for you. It's about looking very holistically, I feel, at whatever subject or area it is that you're wanting to express an idea or an opinion on. And it's really an idea, because we're not putting our own opinions on things. Because in order to be a facilitator in change and transformation, it's aligning yourself with actually that, with being authentic and being a channel almost, to be able to, to share the information. If it becomes very personal, then for me, that's not when you're, looking at it from that sense of service. It's becoming a personal thing. So, to really, in sort of the spiritual and the Ayurvedic community, we would talk often about how do we, in the sense of sharing light, in the sense of bringing in light, in the sense of removing veils or peeling off layers. And in essence, that's what that's my intention when I am sharing what I share. I hope it supports, if it supports one person to understand something a little bit better, or to have a greater capacity to understand something from a more holistic perspective, then I feel in service. I feel I've done something good,
Yeah, that's what I think started, like you say, when you said being in service, how can I help? Is,
how can I help?
for me, the key thing. So with the business and what it is that you do, obviously we've had a bit of a crazy mad 3 months. How has it affected you, and how have you coped? Have you had any lessons learned in this? Because we're never too old to learn this.
Yes.
Yeah, what have you found it to be like for you?
It's,
I've loved it, I have to say. I've
I've enjoyed the downtime. I mean, we were all asking for it, weren't we?
Oh,
we were
yeah.
like, I want more time. I need to rest.
Absolutely.
We were all asking for it. So here we go. The universe provides, and all of a sudden we've got 3 months to work on ourselves.
With beautiful weather, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been wonderful in many ways. I've been able to declutter and really use the time very productively. However, and at the same time, it has been challenging. We predominantly supply hotels and spas. Obviously, they've all been closed during this period. I had a training course that was due to run in April. It was full. That's had to be rescheduled. So from a practical point of view, there have absolutely been challenges. And I think it's about how we rise to those challenges. It's how we take, how we are able to just maneuver our way through to the other side, and also support our customers and our clients as well. I think my listening skills have definitely
I know, it's like nobody will hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe, before that, maybe there were certain ways of doing business working that were right for me and for the business. And now I think I've learned some new things. I've got some new systems in place as well. One of the big things for me out of all of this is I wanted to simplify. So I really wanted to simplify. That's just something I've really been working on. So kind of like shedding out the areas that are unnecessary, or creating too much administration, in my work and my business, and really having a look at actually what is working, as a business owner and also as a healthcare practitioner, what am I truly aligned to that I want to really focus on and continue with, for the next 3 years. So it's been really good downtime in that way, actually.
Yeah. What made you do this business? Because you went, like, say, from journalism, and then what was it? Did something happen in your life, or did you have a aha moment, an epiphany, where you just thought, I'm going down the alternative route? Or, you know, what was it that did it? What was the thing?
So I did work. I worked for a news agency for many years, and that took me abroad. And I was writing about business. So I was interviewing CEOs, MDs of Fortune 500 companies. Lived in 9 different countries within a 4-year period. Had a great corporate life through it all. Loved all of that. Who wouldn't? You know. But I wasn't growing. You know, I didn't feel that I was growing, and I was looking for something deeper. I couldn't, you know, if I look back now, I couldn't have put it into words. I didn't know what it was. I just knew
how did it show itself? How did it show itself? Did you find yourself becoming more unhappier? Did you find yourself not looking forward to the day when you woke up? What did it look like in that moment? So people who might be going through it would recognize the symptoms if it's happening to them.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a bit of an emptiness, to be honest.
As in, what's your purpose? Why am I here? Really?
Yeah. Starting to ask all of those questions. And I think, and I've spoken to other people. I mean, I was 29 when this started for me. And, you know, I met a lady the other day where she said, actually, that started for me at 21. And she's a big global speaker now, you know, so she was asking those questions at that age. And then she felt.
So the old soul, maybe it was the old soul in you, isn't it?
Yeah. And anyway, that took me off on a journey. I was then on a project in India. So I was there working professionally. And I actually walked into a meditation shop. So I was in Hansel Plaza in a shopping centre, you know, where you've got all these fabulous saris, and amazing, you know, homeware all around you. And I ended up walking into this little meditation shop in the corner. And there was a sannyasin, you know, there's a spiritual teacher there who was wearing orange. And he just said something to me in that moment. And whatever it was, it resonated. And so the next weekend, having never meditated before, I jumped on an intense meditation retreat, and it was pretty hardcore. It was 3 days in the middle of, they had this ashram an hour outside of Delhi, and it was very a traditional ashram. You know, you stayed in very simple rooms. We ate, we got up early in the morning. We had quite a strict schedule, vegetarian food. We were served by the monks in that ashram, and I just went through the program, and I felt this huge sense of, I was like, oh my God, I can breathe again. You know, it was that feeling of like, because I think, you know, we get so busy in our life that we move further and further away from who we are.
Correct.
Our authentic core.
Yes. You felt alive. You felt life. You felt the source, energy going through you. Energy. You realize, exactly. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I was moved to Mumbai for this project, and I went to another ashram in Pune, which is an hour outside of Mumbai, and it was in that sort of area. I had this massage, which they then told me was an Ayurvedic massage, and you know, in some very basic clinic, no, you know, airs and graces, And I just had a very transformative experience, and that was it. I wanted to learn more. You know, I was like, wow, something really powerful has happened, and I don't get it. I don't know what this is. It's not my muscles and my tissues. There's something more going on.
Cellular level.
Cellular level, energetic, cellular, deep level.
Do you do those massages here, by the way? Do you do that? Have you brought those massages here?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you do that? Do you do that thing where you pour the oil on the forehead from?
Sorry,
yeah. So as we bring this plane into land, as Bob Proctor would say, do you have a base? So obviously, how can people get in touch with you now with all your social media? What is the best?
Yes, so I do have a clinic practice here. I'm based in Mapley, so people can get in touch with me for consultations and also for treatments. And then for our training as well. So I run 2 courses for body workers, for therapists twice a year. And then I have a year-long program if you want to train in meditation. You don't have to want to train as a teacher. You might want to actually do that program for your own self-development. So, you know, in the same way that I went through that and peeled off the layers, it's really fantastic for that. And I have many students that enjoy studying for that reason. And then if you're a business, if you're a spa, if you're a hotel and you want to stock our products, then get in touch.
What's the website? Where would they get in touch with you?
So it's www.tri-dosha.co.uk. That's TRI_Dosha, DOSHA.co.uk.
I will put that on the video description as well. Yeah.
Great. And then I have my clinic is my name, www.sunitapassi.com.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for the chat this morning, Sunita. I could talk for ages, but I better not. And I hope to see you in the flesh real soon. Thank you.
Thank you, darling. You take care.
Cheers.
Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.